Wow, well, welcome back. I guess I say welcome back to myself here to the PGA Show. It's the third year that they have invited me and the Mod Golf podcast to be part of their media day. And anybody that doesn't know about the Mod Golf podcast, my name is Colin Weston. I am the host, and both with the podcast and the YouTube channel, we speak with the entrepreneurs, the innovators, the disruptors, and the influencers who are shaping the future of golf. And today, I'm going to be here for 90 minutes. We have 6 fabulous guests. We're going to do like 10-minute segments with each of them here. Some people, like Carolin Pinegger, right next to me here, I just met last week and again this morning. And some that I have out waiting in the wings here, I've known for years. So we've got a nice mix here, nice eclectic mix. But first up, we do have Carolin Pinegger, who is you wear a lot of hats. I know you've got, I guess, you have your own golf teaching.
Yes, so
right?
In the golf space, I do wear a lot of hats. Every other hat that David Leadbetter doesn't wear, he sticks to the straw hat, and that's his signature, right? And I love to help with any of the other hats, but it's my industry, and
it is, and we were connected because of what you and David Leadbetter Enterprises, and with some other partners you have. You're doing some very interesting things, which I was drawn to, of course, with loving that innovation side. And you're doing the Golf Pitch Challenge, not only here this week at the PGA Show, but I believe in Las Vegas, and you've got another event. So it's something that you're doing all year long. And if I get this right, if I do the pitch for the Pitch Challenge, in a way you're creating the Shark Tank for golf. Is that a fair assessment, Carolyn, to say what it is that you're doing?
It is. That is a fair assessment, Colin. It's basically fostering innovation in a fun way, in an entertaining way, but also in a business way. So we've brought some of the most amazing minds together in the golf business, and even from outside the golf business, in distribution, in manufacturing, in infomercials. Obviously, Kevin Harrington is a big part of this.
Right.
Him and David and myself kind of played golf together early this year, and that's kind of where it all starts, right? It always starts on the golf course.
It does. Well, I was about to ask my next question, and that is the origin story. I always love to hear the backstory of how this came together. Yourself, I know you've got you wear an entrepreneurial hat with what you do, not only with your teaching, but in some other ventures that you've either founded or you've been involved with. So you definitely have that bug. Yes. Some of us call it an ailment, an infliction of entrepreneurship, but you certainly have that. So well, tell us about that moment on the golf course, that inflection point that came together. And as we know, an idea is one thing, but then to actually do it is like 99.99% of the work. So tell me what happened after you got off the golf course and then decided to make this happen.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm definitely a serial offender when it comes to entrepreneurship. I do love to have my hands in many things. And there's, in the golf space especially, if you look at the show, there's so much potential here, and it's growing, right?
Yeah.
A lot of the trade shows over the last couple of years, and I'm in a couple of different industries, they've scaled back, they've had to scale back, COVID, this and that. But golf, look at this. This is an incredible show. So that's why this business is number one, I love it. I've been in it since, a very long time. And number two, it's a great space to be in. So, all that to say, when we met on the golf course, one of our good friends brought us together on the golf course, and David Leadbetter, Kevin Harrington, myself.
Yes.
We played 18 holes, and, David's a tinker. He's obviously a legend in the game. He's patented over 7 training aids throughout his career. And he just brought out his last training aid in May called the Straightaway, and it's really had a great response. And obviously Kevin Harrington being the titan he is in the infomercial space and in the distribution space and the TV space, media space in general, he loves golf and he loves innovation. So there really was a big overlap when we played and when we spoke. We showed him our products, and we kind of said, wouldn't it be fun? And even David had mentioned this to me a year ago, even before we met Kevin, that he would love to help inventors. And he always has people come up to him and say, hey, look at this. And he's like, yeah, very cool. But what then, right? What now?
Right.
And that's really what the idea then formed into, to say, can we answer that for the inventors? What now? I've had this great idea. What now?
I find this interesting because I'm sure with David, like he's comfortable now. He's climbed so many different mountains. He can do what he wants, so this whole notion of what would compel you to do this, I find this quite interesting. That you have now this opportunity to really not only help these entrepreneurs, that whether they need more funds or they actually need that community around that and need those relationships that you're able to connect people to. But on the side for you, both with David Leadbetter Enterprises and the way this consortium has come together, how does it work for you? What obviously you want to do it, you're passionate about it, but as a business case, what is it for you? Are you getting like walk us through? Well, let me step back, take a deep breath here. What's going to happen with I believe it's 6 companies that are pitching tomorrow to you? So run us through what's going to happen tomorrow. Let's start with that.
Absolutely. So tomorrow we have 6 select product pitches that are going to be with us at the show, the main stage here at 3:30, and they're going to be pitching to us. Everybody's going to have a couple of minutes to give us their best pitch, and then we're essentially going to crown a winner. That winner is actually going to get $10,000 in our consulting services.
All right.
And that can range from, obviously, consulting for your business. What's next? How can we help you? We can help with marketing. We can help with distribution. We can help with manufacturing. We can help with, on David's side, obviously, if it's a training aid or something of that sort, to be able to improve it, to kind of get a quality assessment of, is this product not just the right product, but is it made correctly, right? And
right.
There's so much that goes into this. So we're really excited to see these guys pitch. And then not just on this pitch, challenge, we have formed a joint venture that's called Signature Golf Products.
Right.
And that is really the company and the venture between all of us. Again, David Leadbetter, Kevin Harrington, myself, we have Derek and Mike Locker, who are very close friends and colleagues, and have worked with Kevin Harrington on the manufacturing side for many years. And then we have Santiago Marie, who's also a part of David's very close inner circle. Me and him run some of David's other businesses, and he's a great instructor, so he really comes into it from an engineering perspective and from an instruction perspective. I come in from a player perspective, from a marketing perspective, with my presence that I've been able to build and my brand that I've been able to build. So that's really kind of where my expertise comes in, is helping build these brands in the new age of social media and the new age of marketing, because things change. Things have massively changed in terms of exposure and marketing over the last couple of years.
Absolutely, like exponential rates that they've kind of propelled forward.
Yeah.
So without revealing too much about, or not revealing at all, the companies themselves that are pitching, where do you see, and the group, where do you see kind of these frothy areas within the golf space for innovation? What trends and patterns are you seeing that are emerging that with products that can scale?
Right.
And so tell us a bit about that. What areas you think they're hot, and maybe some that you think that are not so hot?
Yeah. No, I mean, when it comes to products, they're very different, and it's hard to generalize because it really depends what the product positioning is, right? You have products that, when they're a volume game, they don't have to be super complicated.
Exactly.
Because that negates the whole volume game, right? The masses are usually not, it's not something that goes B to C, that it may be something that's B to B, that's more of a tech improvement. Everything's AI, and I'm just gonna have to say this, everything is AI, and there is a lot of things that come to us that is improving golf through the use of technology, perhaps through a new app, through a new spin on these type of things. So we do see a lot of them. I think there's a lot of growth in that, right? It just depends on how we're able to bring it to the people and the masses. And there is a learning curve for anything that's really tech related. So managing that learning curve and managing the education around it for products like this, is a big key piece for us to help these companies, because they may have amazing ideas, but no matter what your product is, you have to be able to nail down your positioning, your target market, and how you can sell that particular product. So I honestly don't want to say that there is something, that there is something that is already in the market and that isn't attractive to us. I think every single product is attractive to us depending on how can we spin it, how can we improve it, and how can we have the market use it, and does it help the golfer, really, right? Like that's the bottom line. Does it help the consumer? And maybe it does, but maybe it needs to be recommunicated, right? So that's really the bottom line. Can it help? How can we make it help?
I love that response. So I could do this for an hour with you, but we're doing these 10 to 15 minute chunks here. So, but I do have 2 more questions that I want to ask you. And you talked about AI, and of course that's like, I wouldn't even call that a trend now. That's where the world is going.
Yeah.
But you look even a couple of years ago, where we were with NFTs, where we were with crypto, where we were with the metaverse, where we were with the blockchain. And there were a lot of people that were just piling on. And I know this with the work I do in entrepreneurship, and this, even outside of golf, that you get, not that they're bad actors, but people just following the trend and just get piling on and then getting funded, perhaps when they don't really have anything there, vaporware as we call it. So how do you and the team vet, like going through, how do you vet the kind of the intake of these ventures that are approached, that if you can see, especially on the AI space, if you can kind of do the sniff test and see if something is legit and good and has the business case, and something is, vaporware, as we call it, that there's not really any there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, we have an amazing team. It all comes down to the team. We have people that have so much experience in this, like Kevin Harrington and his team, and they have been around for a while. They have seen, I mean, I don't know if there's a product out there that he hasn't seen, right, in some sort of shape or form. And then we have just a good spread between myself and Santiago and David and Kevin. We have a wide range of knowledge. So that helps us, number one, kind of vetting these products, right? Because if it may not everything may be in one person's wheelhouse, right? And that really helps us make sure and share internally where we see this going. And as you said, the blockchain space, the crypto space, there is a future in all of this. There really is. Yes. But again, it comes down to communicating it correctly, applying it correctly. Because, for example, people, when you say crypto and you say blockchain, people think it's the same thing. But it's vastly, actually, one needs the other, yes. But it is, one's a actual technology and another one is a financial, way to transport value.
Yes.
But it's not the same thing. So people just kind of lump it into one and say, oh, no, this isn't going to work, or, oh, no, I don't know anything about it. But it's an education piece, and we have so many good people on the team that's really how we vet it. And we look at the fundamentals of good business cases. I don't think those change.
I agree. Those things are timeless.
Yeah.
And never go out of fashion. So the last question I wanted to ask you is, and this is for anybody out there at the show or listening or watching on YouTube, that are considering entrepreneurship, or they're already starting a venture and kind of wondering there's no secret sauce or formula, but there are components to what makes ventures successful, because entrepreneurship is hard. Over 90% fail. So the stats are kind of grim, but the rewards can be great. So between idea and team and partnerships, what we call like a business model canvas, and filling out those 9 boxes, what do you look for in the team? What stands out, or something that has to be consistent throughout, or when you're vetting these? Like what's your scorecard when you're getting these ventures in front of you for the first time?
Absolutely. I think it's obviously potential, right? Where do we see this, that this product has a lot of potential? Is there the application? Is there a market for it?
Yes.
Is there a market, and is there a market maybe outside the market that they thought about initially, right? If you're talking, especially golf products, I've seen a lot of golf products now that say, oh, this is great, we do this in golf, and I'm like, well, can you do it in pickleball? Can you do it in tennis? Can you do it in baseball? Can you do it in any other sports, right? So that, when I hear and see that there's a product that can be applied across different markets, that really spikes our interest, right? Because now you're talking about truly scaling.
Yes.
And you're talking about branding it in a way that you can rebrand it almost in every sport in a little bit of a different way. So you can still speak to these customers. So that's one that really kind of gives you, that's a birdie already. Like, you're starting off with a birdie, right? If you have something like that, you're 1 under from the get-go.
Well, we're going to end it here on a really well-placed golf analogy there, Carolin. So thank you for that. So anyone here at the show, so tomorrow at 3 o'clock, as you mentioned, at the stage, I believe, yes, it's farther down. You know what where that is, or what aisle that is, that the stage is at? So
the main stage. The main stage. It's right near aisle 4,300.
There you go. Okay. Yep. And that starts at 3 o'clock?
3:30.
3:30. So the Golf Pitch Challenge happens tomorrow, and I strongly encourage everybody to check that out. And for people that are watching or listening, of course, that doesn't apply. But I believe you also have in Las Vegas, you've got 2 more intakes that you're doing this year. Is that correct? So quickly tell us about those. And also, are you still, if someone's got a venture out there, can they still apply?
Yeah, absolutely. They can keep applying. We have our website, golfpitchchallenge.com, so you can just fill out the form. You can submit your idea. We'll get on a Zoom call with you, 15 minutes. And then you can also apply to pitch at one of those events, which is going to be one in Las Vegas in May, and then one back here in Florida. And we're also thinking about doing another one in the middle. Literally, in the middle of the year, in the middle of the country.
Oh, there we go. The middle of the middle.
Yes.
Well, I can definitely vouch for Carolin and the team, because when I put on my entrepreneurial hat, a venture we've been working on, I submitted, got it a Zoom call, and we've had a chat. So hey, if they'll talk to me, I'm sure they'll talk to you. So definitely apply, even if you're at the early stage, right? Even at the ideation stage, you don't have to have a product that's already in market, right?
You can come to us with an idea, on a napkin, on a scorecard. We'll take them all.
Awesome. Good stuff. Carolin Pinegger, thanks so much for joining me today on the Mod Golf Podcast.
Thanks for having me.